What's up, Barnhill family, and welcome back to the channel.
Yo.
So, Nick, Gervonta Tank Davis getting the job done, albeit not in KO fashion, which I'm sure he's disappointed in. It snapped his long KO streak that he had there. But Isaac Cruz is just a super tough guy.
Yeah.
And this was a great fight. I think it was scored fairly.
Yeah.
I think 115 to 113 is about what happened. I think this was Gervonta's toughest opponent yet. I kind of had the feeling going into it that he was going to be. He's a young kid. He's hungry. He comes forward. He throws heavy punches, and he's not afraid to take punches. And I think he really made Tank earn this victory.
Yeah, and he wasn't on my radar as a guy that I'm going to be watching, but now he definitely is.
Oh, yeah.
His stock went up. Gervonta said it. He goes, but a lot of people didn't know who he was, but a star was born tonight. And even though he didn't win, that was a great performance. And, 115, 113 to me was very fair. You could tell that there was a little bit of concern in Gervonta's corner late into the fight, because especially going into that 12th and final round, because I believe, and the unofficial scorecards had Cruz winning 10 and 11. And so I was like, man, this could be a bit of a pick 'em, and then, who knows? I think the kid seized the moment, came to fight, really made it hard for Tank to get the power shots that he always finds off. He, obviously Tank will find that uppercut, and he'll find those other hooks and things like that really well. But he made it difficult. He made him really work for those, and it was a really low, crouched down position that he would hang out in. Almost looked like a Mike Tyson, right? Like a 5'3" Mike Tyson. He was just bouncing, made it very hard. I feel like if he would have attacked the head a little bit more, most people complain that fighters don't ever go to the body. Well, this guy was almost exclusively going to the body.
Yeah.
And he was doing work, having good success down there, but if he would have mixed in some strikes to the head every now and again, he would have seen some more success, because when he did land on Tank's head, it did look like he was catching him.
Yeah, I mean, he had a great game plan, and working the body, you could tell Tank did not like some of those shots.
Yeah.
They were hurting him, and I think Tank did a really good job of mitigating the damage done there and firing off his own shots once he found his range. He did a really good job with his jab, I think. Once the fight got into the third, fourth round, he really started to find success with that jab. If you have a guy like Isaac Cruz that wants to fight in a phone booth, as they say, which basically means no space, you have to do something to prevent them from closing the distance on you. And a good, strong jab is your best tool to do that. And so about the fourth round, Gervonta started to throw a really sharp, really fast jab, mixed in with some check hooks that landed. And I think he did an excellent job of it. If there's one point I could criticize just slightly in his technique, is he telegraphs that uppercut a little bit. He kind of loads up on it. He kind of swings his hand a little bit. There's a little bit of a tell, and Isaac Cruz was able to read it a couple of times and get his glove up. And most of those hit the glove if you go back and watch the slow motion replays. Some of them looked really bad in live time, but when you look at the replays, Cruz actually blocked the majority of the force from those punches. And I think it was because Gervonta has just a little tell when he does that. It's ever so slight, but if he can correct that, I think that he finds success, maybe even would have gotten a knockout. He did say around the fifth or sixth round he felt something happened to his hand. We haven't heard yet if his hand is actually broken or not, but he still did an excellent job throwing it up until about the 11th round, where he kind of put that hand in his pocket, so to speak, and worked the jab. But yeah, Isaac Cruz was stealing some of those late rounds, 10, 11, was doing good in the 12th. So Gervonta had to dig deep for this one. And I think he's absolutely right when you say a star was born, because nobody expected Isaac Cruz to do that well. And even though he didn't get his hand raised, I do think we're looking at a future champion at 23 years old, and it could be across multiple weight classes.
Yeah, I'd love to see which one of the guys, the belt holders that are more, big names and have good name recognition in boxing, are going to want to fight him, because I don't think many are going to want to. It was cool that Tank took the fight on, changing of opponents and last minute changes. It was cool to see him take the fight anyways. And Tank showed me a lot. Everybody always chalks Tank up as this ridiculous KO monster, which he is. And for all the right reasons. He gets the fights done, and the way he likes to do it, spectacular knockout fashion. But he is a high-level boxer.
Yeah.
He moves really well. His footwork is really good. The uppercut you're referring to, I do see it the way you see it. It's a bit of a tell, but it's more one of those habits that he's created because he's a showman.
Yeah.
He loves to put on a show in there. He loves for like a crazy highlight reel knockout. And when you bring that, it's like the old school boxing when you like spin your arm like that a couple of times and then send the uppercut. That's almost like what he does. Like he kind of sends it like that. And I think it's because he knows if he lands it right and flush, it's going to knock the guy out. Cruz did a great job of noticing it a couple of times, very last second, and blocking it, getting his glove in the way. But you could tell he was definitely feeling him because he would shell up even more so when Tank would try to throw those. And then the hook, the lead hook that Davis was throwing, was a great way for him to manage the later rounds in the fight when his power hand was starting to hurt. He had to really rely on his jab and his check hook and his just lead hook as much as he could when his hand started to hurt because he said he couldn't really throw it that much. He kept throwing it through like 8, 9, 10, 11. And then in the 12th round, I don't believe he even threw it one time. So it was clearly bothering him. You don't really want to smash your hand. It could take you out 6 months.
Right.
And so it was smart of him to do that. But we did get to see a pretty cool side of Tank that we don't always get to see. And to see him go the distance was really cool. This kid, Isaac Cruz, showed us that you're not going to put that guy out. You gotta hit as hard as like a Mack truck to take that guy out. So I really like that. 26-0 with 24 knockouts is still a very ridiculous record. And I think Gervonta Davis showed us that he has the skills and obviously the power to beat and maybe steal some of the belts away from those other guys that are at the top. And I'm sure they'd love to get their hands on him because he's such a big name. He's right under Floyd Mayweather as far as like mentor and student goes. So I would love to see that. Let's get these guys in there as quick as possible. One thing's for sure, Gervonta has no interest in fighting Isaac Cruz again because he knows just how tough of a night it was for him.
Yeah, Isaac Cruz is an extremely tough opponent. I think that Tank Davis, there's some bigger names out there that he'd have an easier time with than he did against this relative unknown who was supposed to be on the undercard of this fight. But you said it. Tank is an excellent boxer. We know him for his knockout power. He's famous for his uppercuts, his just devastating straight power twos. Mm-hmm. But he won that fight last night off of a jab.
Yeah.
He had an incredible jab that was well-timed. It found his range. It stopped the pressure come forward fighter from being able to implement his game. It was disruptive, and it was a close fight, but I think it was a clear victory for Tank, and he showed us a wrinkle in his boxing tool bag that he actually has. He's not just a one-trick pony. He's not just some crazy small guy that's got disproportional power for his size. He's somebody that can really box.
Yeah, he really is. And he's got a couple new tattoos to show off. It looked pretty cool on him. So he's got Baltimore on his back, and I'm sure they're happy for him over there. And I can't wait to see what he does next. I'd love to see, Haney and Kambosos get paired up. I'd love to see what Lomachenko does this weekend. We've got a lot of cool things in that 130 to 140 weight range. And I think as many of these guys as we can pair up with each other as many times as we can in many different variations, the better for the sport of boxing. And I do think there's going to be a lot of fun matchups in the future.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think the Lomachenko fight really makes a lot of sense for me because Lomachenko, even though he's got not as many professional fights, he had such an extensive double gold medal amateur career. That spanned multiple Olympic games. That's great, but it kind of makes for a short professional career. So if he's going to get in there with some of the best at 135, 140, I think that making that Lomachenko fight now before Loma gets any older would make a lot of sense, especially if you're going to pair Kambosos and Haney together. You might as well make a fun fight in the meantime. But Tank Davis is a real force to be reckoned with, and he's on the right side of 30. This kid's got a really bright future and could potentially become a big pay-per-view star. I know he's a pay-per-view guy right now. He can draw enough to get on pay-per-view, but he's not a pay-per-view star yet.
Right.
A couple more wins like last night and a couple more good, he was on the Nelk Boys podcast. Mm-hmm. He's starting to kind of cross over to where people that don't listen to or watch or consume boxing content are starting to know who he is, and he certainly has the skills to back it up. So I'm excited for his next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, sold out the arena over there in LA. Did a good job. It was star-studded, the crowd was. So props to him. Great job to Cruz because that was an awesome fight. And all these fighters are right on schedule to compete with each other in the second quarter of next year. So I can't wait to see these matchups.
Me either. Guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If you've enjoyed the content, just smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And guys, let us know in the comments, what did you think of Tank Davis's performance and who he should fight next? We always love chatting with you guys there. Until the next video, have a wonderful day.
Peace.